Is this broadsword first? Oh, 24 first. Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. We're back. We're going to do the 24 movement simplified Yang style Tai Chi form. So if you've been following, we're going to go through the same format, do a few warm-ups, then do some posturing, and then we'll run through the sequence. And hopefully we can get through some of the sections of the form to make sure it's clear to everyone, what the transitions are and identifying the postures. All right, so we're going to stand in the shoulder width position. Get our hands up like this, turning the waist. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. To the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay? Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands on your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, next, cross. Hold your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, center. Hands here. Neck turning a couple of times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Center. Tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Center. A few circles around. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, and center. Okay, hands up. Pull in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, let's spread the feet a little. Turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Let's do a little stretching. So we have to stretch out a bit so we can be limber enough to do the downward postures, or at least relaxing the muscles enough to get into certain positions. So a lot of these exercises, you can do them on your own. Because they're limbering up, we can do a lot more of these. Because we have time restraints, we try to go through a few of these, get moving, and then work more on the postures and the sequence. Switch, straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Okay, back to center. Let's go to one side. Switch. 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 So you're actually working your inner thigh up in the hip area. So when we go down into the downward posture, you have your position. Okay, so you're coming down the leg like this. And that will lead you up into the golden cockerel stance on one leg. All right, shake it out. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So the wrist has to bend backwards like this, so when we push, we have the wrist action. So then we hook the wrist like this, so we can have our hook wrist position. So we have to stretch out the muscle here and here. Okay, so a few of those. Few of those. Okay, then we get the joint moving like this, just like we did our ankles, and we're going to do the ankles, sorry. The knees and so forth. We're just working the joints to limber them up. Stretch a bit. Fingers. Shoulders. Okay, so it's just press, shoulders, sort of the shoulder girdle up in the top here, out here, okay, down, arch the hand, back down, stretch this way so to get the shoulder. Okay, shake it out. Then the legs, I'm going to make a few circles like this. Loosen up, let it relax. See, the biggest benefit to movement is avoiding the rigidity, the conflict in movement. I speak a lot about conflicts in movement. It's usually tension. So use your ability to relax and sort of shake it out. That kind of lets the muscle go, and it lets everything relax. Okay, deep breathing again. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. So, a lot of times we turn to the back. So when we turn our shoulders like this, we're really working our torso, so we have ability to turn. And then when we lift up and exhale, we have the ability to sink in the stance and relax the ankles, the hips, and the knees. And then all this action that we're doing in the shoulders and elbows is to get our body nimble and limber. So when we're here, we can turn. So when I speak of muscle memory and geometry and direction, you have to find your direction. So you have your forward position directly in front of the nose, and you have your two corners, okay? So that's really 90 degrees. If I turn this way or this way, I have the same reference. So Tai Chi is actually done in an octagon, or at least angularly in a direction. So you keep those angles sort of in your mind, and then when we turn, you try to find those positions. So if I turn my torso like this, my torso is actually 45 degrees. If I turn this way, it's 45 degrees. If I'm like this, it's 0. So between there and there, we have 90 degrees. So regardless of whether we're moving our feet or moving our torso or moving our arms, we're working off of these increments of 45 degrees. So that's really, in this plane of movement, at least that's what's mapped out on the ground. But we also can find these corners as we go like this to repulse the monkey. So obviously when you do these movements, you have to build and develop the coordination. And coordination is really moving your limbs as a relationship, or they appear to be simultaneous, but you're using those reference points. So here's my center. So this is repulse the monkey, all right? Now how you find the position and how accurately you do this movement really will depend on how often you practice. If you do it once a week, you'll progress very, very slowly. So you actually have to do this a little bit more often, especially finding your position, because your body doesn't recognize it in the beginning. So while we're doing this as a drill, you could see that I have a position to create the different hand movements. Now this is brush knee. Now how it strokes across and then comes to the front, how it strokes across and comes to the front. You have to find this position, and then that's repulse the monkey. This is brush knee. Okay. Now if you work this, eventually your body will get in tune with those directions of movement. I'm not doing the leg work with it until, we're going to work on that a little bit. I just want to make sure you know what these positions are like. So this is stork flaps wings. Okay. This is strum the lute. Okay. This is parry and punch. So you see these positions. Those are your target positions. When you find your position over time, then it becomes muscle memoried. And muscle memory is joint angle position controlled by your musculature, which is controlled by your sort of your awareness and proprioception, knowing where your body is in space. Okay. When we push, it's a push like this. Okay. If we're stroking down like this or like this, that's called divert. When we cross the hands like this, that's called a press, depending on which hand is inside, varies depending on which side you're facing. Okay. Our hook wrist is in the 45-degree corners. So if I go like this, or I go like this, there's my downward posture. So you can see the angular position, there's an alignment in the body, and you can see the 45-degree lines. So these lines actually create the aesthetics of your positions and postures. Without those lines, the posture doesn't look right. If you do the movements and they're too big or too small, they don't look right. So tracking the movement, following the movement, whether it's visual or just using mental imagery, it's all part of your practice. When you go like this, that's really the up and down movement in the golden cockerel. When we go like this, we're really preparing to insert the needle. Okay. When we're like this is fan through the back. Okay. So you see the positions, make a difference. So that's what we're trying to develop. That's the body form. The body form has to be connected with the legs. as an image. So when we're standing like this is strum the lute. When we're standing like this, okay, this is stork flaps wings. When we're standing like this, that's brush knee, right side push. If I step up, brush knee, right side push. Okay, so when we start, here's your starting position, here's your ending position. Now the timing and the transition to get from that point to the final point is something that you need to practice. We can't do enough of them in a class, so you have to take that posture, that movement, and work it a bit on your own. And then as your body sort of connects with the movement and what you've taken as a mental imagery from seeing the video, then at some point your body's going to start to connect with it and you start to improve. So that's the process. We have to understand the process to realize how we can develop. Okay, if I go like this and I lift my knee and then I start to step back, there's a position that sets you up for repulse the monkey. Okay, so you see, repulse the monkey is going backwards, so the timing is fold the elbow and the knee, step down, find your position, and then you have to settle into your position. When you settle into your position, it's called sink your elbow or relax the shoulder. But a lot of times you just focus on sink your elbow, relax your shoulder. You don't get the body working together to feel everything is settling down. It should feel like everything is dropping and finding that settled position. So that gives you stability, but it's also a feeling of descending, right? So when you sink, you have to settle in the knees. You have to release. So relaxing is really releasing the tension in your joints. So keep that in mind, that every time you move, whether it's standing and letting go, that's the whole premise of, holding a position or settling, right? So sinking and bending your knees are two different things. You have to distinguish the two ideas. Bending is a physical thing. Sinking is releasing tension. Then it becomes more of an intrinsic motion where the whole body becomes integrated as one settling action. So that's, these are just concepts. Now, while we're talking about that, when you stand in a position, you should be vertical and erect. So your spine should be straight. Your tailbone should be vertically plumb, not tilted this way or this way. Okay, those are false. Don't let your tailbone sway out of position. Okay, so that's one thing. And then when we get into a position, whether it's like this, like in single whip, this is the single whip position. Okay, you see the position? When we're in a downward posture, the hand is here before it goes to here. Okay, then it goes up, and then this hand goes down, and this hand goes up as if pulling up the knee. Okay, so that happens on both sides. So we're here, we step out, we squat down. This goes down here and goes down the leg. It comes from here, it comes back down like this. So in order for you to hand, if you go like this and your elbow doesn't go back here, it won't go down the leg. If you're here and you go like this, then that won't have the same line of movement. Your hand ends up here, and then this hand goes up like this. So it goes up, and it ends up here. So that's the golden cockerel, downward posture. The golden cockerel stands on one leg. So those two units kind of go together as one, right? So the last few weeks, we talked about hold the ball, hold the ball. Here's your empty stance. This is also empty, but it's checking your weight. Now, if I'm like this, my shoulder is square. When I go like this, my shoulders turn about 45 degrees, and the foot comes here. And then my hip can turn like this. You see, between here and here are two positions. When I come to this position and I step out, One of the things that a lot of people do, and this is actually because as you evolve through these movements in the beginning stages, when you're here, you make this big circle and the arm goes, and the leg goes out there. Your step should be soft. So when you go like this, it's really, if you're turning from the hip, it's going to take your leg. So have your movements start from your center. From the inside, the movement is coming from here. And then your foot should be in this position. So it's really your hip turning, taking you in that direction. If you don't turn the hip and go like this, or if you don't turn the hip and do that, you're going to end up over there. But you have to actually combine the shifting here and turning of the hip. And that'll, depending on how much you turn, is how wide it's going to be. You see. So you want to go into a position where this is about maybe 4 or 5 inches apart, a little wider than what we do in the Wu style. So when you step out, your body is doing this. Your leg is actually accommodating that movement. So it does take some strength. So your step should be practicing that, so that if this is the action, then your body will start to tie into the hip motion, because the hips have to be relaxed and loose. So those are kind of fundamentals that you should build into your movement while you're learning the sequence, and all you do is tracking that. Once you know the sequence, you have to improve your form. So improving your form, you have to understand the body mechanics, the body relationship with the limbs, your upper body, appendages, your lower body, your legs. That's all tied through your torso. So if your torso isn't working correctly because it's too stiff, or your legs are not working correctly because it doesn't have the strength, you have to work through the movements to build strength. If it has strength but not flexibility, you have to work on the flexibility. But if you work the movements in conjunction with strength and flexibility in mind, then the movements will evolve, because you're not going to be resisting your movement. So resistance of movement really is innate in your body, because you have tension and you have excessive tension. So that's something to avoid. So this is true of any of the Tai Chi concepts that we have, whether it's the Wu style or this style. It's actually systemic throughout everything that we do, because even Kung Fu should be done like that. You should have an idea of not using too much strength and not being too loose or flaccid, and not allowing your body to create a motion because of the muscular conflict from the rigidity in the body. Okay, so first movement actually begins like this. Okay, then we shift, and now we turn and we hold the ball. We step out like this, and we work up to part the horse's mane. As we step up, all of the things that we're talking about should start to make sense and start to become a part of your goal. Now the half step forward, you have to shift, touch down with the toe, press down, lift, and then move the foot out. So you should have this image. When we turn, you balance. Step out and stroke out. So this is brush knee. It's done 3 times. We check, we turn. This is the back corner. We step out and push. To a step, check your weight, and push. Shift. This is the same step. So that coordination allows you to develop a softness in your footwork, to allow you to come here. Now we're going to go like this. I'm just setting it up so you can see the positions that we just talked about. You have to relax and settle into position so you have stability, right? This is control. Now the last one is here. Because now we're going to go like this to hold the ball. The foot is checked. You step out, ward off. Set up your hands, roll back. Front foot stays flat. Press. Bring the hands back. Sink the elbow. And push. So when you roll back and press, you're pressing like this. When your hands open, imagine the ball. The ball. Now the top of the ball is here. So it really comes over like that, and then we're going to turn. That was the left side. Now we're going to go to the right side. The same thing applies on the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So when you go back, don't do this. Don't do this. Stay vertical. And then when you're here, you still look for vertical. And then we turn. Right? So when we turn, this is cloud hands. The hand movement. So when we're here, do one set before you're here. So you step out and then you go to single whip. Then we do that movement again, but now we're going to do the cloud hand movements. And we step and shift, step and shift, step and hook. Now this is elongated. This is now, because elongated, this is here. We step out. Then the hand comes across like this. That's like a palm push. Okay? So we see what we just did. Single whip. Okay, then we're opening again. So this is that back corner. We step up, fold the elbow, push to the face. That's palm strikes face. Now we set up our hands like this. And we make a circle, open, and then we do the heel kick before we come down and do 2 punches to the ear. And we turn again. Right? So that's a 180-degree turn. From this corner to this corner. Down. Lift. Put this knee into that corner. Heel kick. And then we're going to go like this. Down. Press down. This goes up. Lift. End up like this. Squat down. Straighten the foot. Lift. Okay? Then we're going to go down to this side. Hold the ball. Jade Lady Work Shuttle. Hold the ball. Jade Lady Work Shuttle. Here's that half step again. Go back to that corner. Fold the elbow. Insert the needle. Fan through the back. Now we flip the hands this way. Sit back, drop the hands. Create the back fist. Step down, divert, block, and punch. Leopard and tiger springs to mountain. And then we push. Okay, I'm going to get in the mirror for a second. Then we're going to turn. Open the stance. Go into that corner. Come back to center. And close. Close. So some people stop it here. We're used to coming back here, typically in the Wu style. So this is, but typically when you open the form, you would be down here. Okay, so when you open or closing movements, okay, and then you close. So in the opening, we should have started here and then open like this, and then you would begin. So I just had started from here earlier. So this is preparation and then open. Okay, so that's the complete sequence. We went through it a little bit slower today so you could kind of see some of the motions in the form. But everything that I was doing earlier from the positions of the body, that's something that you have to work with because we're creatures of habit. So if you do things over and over again, eventually your body starts to pick up on that. And then while you're picking up on that, your brain and your mind is going through this sort of this diagnostic thing to figure out what you're supposed to be doing with your body to create that image. And at the same time, it's building neurons, it's building brain plasticity, it's working through this whole process. And ultimately, one of the big benefits of doing Tai Chi is circulation, not having conflict and movement from tension. Tension is actually an inhibitor. If you take a rubber hose and you kind of squeeze it, nothing comes through. No water would come through the hose. So you have to let it go. So that's what happens in your vessels, your blood vessels. When they start to constrict or they start to get smaller, you get less blood flow. If you don't get blood flow, you don't get nutrients and you don't get oxygen into your cells, and you don't get them into your muscles, you don't get them into your organs. You need good circulation. So that's really driven by movement especially, but then you have to have total circulation, so certain areas that don't move as much, certain areas that don't work, or you're not moving at all, that's going to compromise a lot of the things that happen in your body. So, that's how I look at it, and that's how I see the benefits. So while we had gone through the form and you got a lot of information here, tune in, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share this with your friends. But remember, you have to do it more than just today. So that's why you should go to YouTube and follow it several times a week. On that note, I'll see you next week.